I've blogged before about watching other teachers teach, but I suppose it's instructive to reconsider some of those lessons. So I want to think about some of the things I had seen in Mr. Dalton's class. I had the chance to observe him teaching on 3 different occasions, 2 for his world history class and once for his U.S. history course. What I noticed right away was his pacing. Mr. Dalton has a tendency to pace across the front of the classroom. You can tell he does this in part because he wants to monitor the whole class, and he can do this well by moving back and forth across the front of the class. I wonder, though, why doesn't he bother to move front to back? I know in part this is because of the way he has arranged his classroom. On both sides of the class are tables, seating 4 students across and 3 students deep. In the middle, he has separate desks, perhaps a holdover for the renovations, but he uses these middle chairs to his advantage. Rather than taking roll, each class he has students who are assigned to monitor when other students are present and ready, and most of those students are the ones sitting there in the middle of the classroom. I noticed he also keeps assignments and due dates and lesson themes up on the board, so students know what they are expected to do from day to day, and by and large, students have to turn in something every day. I also noticed he tends to use the Promethean smartboard, but in a rather limited way, as a projector. He creates his own PowerPoint slideshow, projects them on the screens, and lectures. He usually expands on the information projected, but students seem to only be responsible to note what is actually on the slides. And occasionally he will use a video or 2. So, by and large, I'm impressed with the way he organizes and runs the class. I like his classroom management. He's not too strict. He tends to reinforce rules and expectations, and students seem engaged and interested. I'm not sure I want to get into specific information about the lessons themselves because I've talked about those before, namely the Continental Congress, his world religions class, things like that. What I would like to note that he is not a straight lecturer. In fact, he is not afraid to use role play and do other activities in the classroom. He attended our Marbury v. Madison thing and seemed quite interested in the possibility of using that in the future. It's also obvious that he has developed these lessons over several years. He doesn't seem to have any notes. He seems to be able to just go in and get started. But I know that he has created and crafted these things over the course of these years, because we actually had a conversation about how he makes his own slideshows. So that's really all I have to say about Mr. Dalton's class. There are certainly things to be learned from watching other teachers, as I've noticed several times throughout the semester. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about